Good afternoon. I'm Colonel John Bolduc, Superintendent of the Nebraska State Patrol. We're here today to provide some preliminary information about an officer-involved shooting that occurred this morning in North Lincoln near 56th and Arbor Road. I'm joined today by Lancaster County Sheriff Terry Wagner and Lincoln Police Acting Chief Brian Jackson. The incident involved both the Nebraska State Patrol and the Lincoln Police Department. Both agencies have requested the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office to investigate this incident. For the purposes of today's media conference, Sheriff Wagner will provide preliminary details on today's events, and Chief Jackson and I will each provide information as it pertains to the Lincoln Police Department and the Nebraska State Patrol. Sheriff Terry Wagner.
Thank you, Colonel. At approximately 8:39 hours this morning, a man reported he was robbed in the parking lot of a Northwest Lincoln hotel by a white male armed with a pistol and accompanied by a white female driving a white Chevrolet Trailblazer. While the Lincoln police officer was taking the report, the victim was alerted his credit card was attempted to be used at a North Lincoln business. Shortly thereafter, the victim was again alerted to his credit card use at a gas station in Northeast Lincoln. A Nebraska State Trooper spotted the vehicle westbound on Superior Street near the 5500 block. As the trooper attempted to stop the vehicle, it fled westbound on Superior Street. During the pursuit, the male suspect began shooting from the moving vehicle at the trooper. The trooper attempted to stop the Trailblazer with an intervention technique. The Trailblazer came to rest across the southbound traffic lanes underneath the I-80 bridge on North 56th Street or US Highway 77. By this time, the original trooper was assisted by another trooper and a Lincoln police officer. During an exchange of gunfire, the male suspect was shot. The female suspect also produced a gun and disobeyed officers' commands. The female suspect was also shot. Officers attempted life-saving measures and summoned medical personnel to the scene. Both suspects were transported to a local area hospital by Lincoln Fire and Rescue. The male suspect is in intensive care unit in life-threatening condition. The female suspect was transported to the same hospital where she underwent emergency surgery but ultimately succumbed to her injuries. Both suspects have been identified and are from Wyoming. One of the troopers was injured during the crash that occurred during the pursuit and was also transported to the hospital. He is in good condition and has been released. The initial investigation indicates that the vehicle driven by the suspects was stolen out of Wyoming and that firearms were recovered at the scene. In accordance with law enforcement best practices and our interlocal agreements, Acting Chief of Police Brian Jackson and Colonel John Bolduc asked for the assistance of the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office in conducting the investigation into the pursuit and the shooting. Our Joint Force Investigation Team and our combined crime scene investigators are conducting the investigation. We are working to, an autopsy is scheduled for the female suspect. Names of the suspects are being withheld pending notification of next of kin.
Good afternoon. I'm Acting Chief Jackson of the Lincoln Police Department. Right now, our agency is assisting the investigation conducted by the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office in two ways. First, we're investigating the initial robbery and associated crimes to that event, and that preceded the vehicle pursuit and the officer-involved shooting. Second, we're working to help positively confirm the identities of the two suspects. LPD investigators are also canvassing the area near the robbery scene, interviewing potential witnesses, and searching for any digital or forensic evidence that could be found. As Sheriff Wagner mentioned, an LPD officer was involved in this incident. Per LPD policies and standard procedures, that officer has been placed on paid administrative leave. As also per policy, we have initiated an internal investigation. The area near North 56th and Arbor Road is still closed as investigators process the crime scene, and we ask that Lincoln residents avoid this area. Any loss of life is tragic, but we are very blessed that no citizens or law enforcement officers were seriously injured in this incident. We encourage any individuals with any information about this incident to call the Lincoln Police Department at 402-441-6000 or make an anonymous report at Lincoln Crime Stoppers at 402-475-3600. This is a complex, detailed investigation, and we will update the public as more information becomes available. Thank you.
The Nebraska State Patrol has a policy in place for any officer-involved shooting, and the process for that policy is already underway. Before providing that information, I'd like to give an update on our trooper who was injured in today's incident. Our trooper suffered non-life-threatening injuries during the pursuit when his vehicle and a suspect vehicle collided during this pursuit. The trooper was able to stay engaged in the incident throughout and was transported to the hospital for treatment following this incident. He has since been released from the hospital and is recovering, and for this we are very thankful. In accordance with NSP policy, both troopers involved in this incident have been placed on administrative leave. NSP is also conducting an internal investigation into this incident.